right, over here at Anthony's house. Anthony Aponte, the homie, just built a 2005 Road Glide that he has been working on for the past few months. I'm gonna let him give you all the details, but I wanted to share this project with you guys. Built by Anthony, been in the game for a minute, and a lot of cool touches, a lot of custom stuff, a lot of attention to detail. The bike has been done from the bottom up. I'm talking engine, paint, bars, exhaust, a lot of attention to detail on this thing. I want to have him give you guys a full rundown. Let's go check this thing out.
Okay. So he came back. He's back out here in Simi, so he wants to pick it up and go back, take it to his cabin. But the goal is to, from the cabin, he's going, or from his place in Big Bear, he's taking it up to Idaho.
So it's gonna see some other places of the country then.
Yeah, that's where the blue bike's at.
Yeah, man. So this is it.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks fucking clean, man.
Better than it did last time, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it looked good before too, but shit, dude, it looks fucking good, man.
Yeah.
It looks good, dude. It's cleaned up well.
And then the silver that's in there on the fairing and shit actually has a metallic in it. And so do the decals. So if you look, it kind of all...
Let's get in the sun. Fuck yeah, let's get in the sun. Yeah, dude, it's clean, man. He's got to be stoked. Does he have a Road Glide yet? The new owner?
He has my blue one.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So he knew what he was getting already.
Yeah, he has my blue one, and he has a Ultra Classic that I sold at Anniversary.
It's so clean, man. I fucking dig it, dude. Well, let's kind of break it down a little bit, dude. I want to break it down with you. Maybe we'll just start from the front, dude, because I know there was a lot of attention to detail, a lot of shit that was done on it. Do you have a picture of it at all from before, just so I can show on here? Let's show a picture of it so they can, I mean, now that they see it, but I want them to know details and what you did to it, what you took apart.
I don't know if you can see it there.
So this is the before. Straight grandpa, man.
Yeah.
Bag rails, luggage rack.
Yes, it had a trailer hitch.
Oh, it did have a trailer hitch. I see it.
Yeah, somebody tried to make it look like an Ultra Classic.
First things first, what base is it? What's the base of it? Year, make, model, all that.
So it's an 05 Road Glide. I got it. It had a blown motor.
So you guys saw the picture before.
Yeah, basically the story was that the guy I got my dad's FXR back from, he acquired it and in a trade deal for a car, and he rode it, and then the motor took a shit, so he took it to a shop out in Arizona where he lives, and they did some stuff, and then come to find out, they found out that it blew an inner cam bearing and just took out the motor.
Time to go. How long have you been in possession of it?
If I had to guess, I think 8 months maybe.
Okay, all right. When did it actually become like it's going to be a project? Because it sat for a little bit then, like unknown what was going to be or what the direction was.
Yeah, because he wanted me to do a whole write-up.
You mentioned basically that engine was blown.
Yeah.
You know, essentially the engine was done. So I know, but I want you to, I know because I saw it. I saw pictures of it, by the way.
Yeah.
What's the Instagram name again? Because I know that's where people can follow along with this. Or like the whole, they can see the whole, your Instagram.
Oh, it's Aponte's _ V-Twin, I think.
That's right. I think.
Or no, V-Twin service.
There you go. Yeah.
_ V-Twin _ service.
We don't know our shit. And the hashtag that he used is also 2005 Road Glide project. So if you go search that hashtag 2005 Road Glide project, not only are you going to see the build to this thing, like step by step, but a lot of like cool tips and tricks and stuff that you did, and like, how-tos and shit like that along the way with this. So go check out his Instagram. It's fucking, I love following his Instagram because he takes the time to explain shit that a lot of people don't. So let's start with the base then. So you said the engine basically blew up and you started, what'd you do? Ripped it out?
So back when I had the shop, Cody and I, we pulled the motor, tore it down because I kind of wanted to see, okay, what exactly happened. We already knew that the cam bearing blew out. This right side case was just trash. I wasn't going to have, somebody try to go in there and TIG weld it and fix it and machine it and all that shit. It was just easier to go
buy a new case
on eBay and find a good used one.
Okay.
So that was a black right side case.
Well, let's go back real quick because you mentioned that you had an S&S crank for it.
I bought
like part of or something in your deal. You already had one.
I already bought a brand new crank. Yeah.
So when you put this back together, you know you needed a case, and so we had to sandwich the things together. So in this, you built it bottom up, and you installed the crank and the S&S and all that stuff. So what is what a little bit of the specs, so to speak, like stroke and what type of bottom end you have in it?
Yeah, so it's an S&S 4-inch stroke crank. It's basically a replacement crank. But being that it's S&S, it's already plugged and then obviously trued.
Dope.
And then they come with forged connecting rods. So it's in theory like having a Dark Horse or Revolution crank. The S&S cranks
big names in the game. I mean, it's a solid, reputable crank that is going to give you a good.
It's comparable to any of that other stuff. The only reason that the only difference is that with Revolution and Dark Horse is that they TIG weld it, but there's plenty of videos on like YouTube showing why S&S does not TIG weld their cranks after they plug them. They can withstand a ridiculous amount of torque, so they're bulletproof. You have one in your bike, right?
I do now, yeah, and partly because a buddy of mine was like, dude, S&S, it's proven, it's quick, it's easy, it's done, they know what they're doing, you don't have to wait. Dark Horse and all them and Revolution, they're all great crank companies and stuff, but S&S puts out a fucking bitchin' product that's right out of the box, ready to install, you ain't got to wait or ship it or do anything.
The only difference is probably price. I mean, the S&S crank, retails for about $1,700, where if you send your bottom end to Dark Horse Revolution, you're probably going to be right around $2,000, but you're going to take your whole bottom end and just stick it in your bike.
Yeah.
With the crank, you got to split the case yourself, or have someone do it, put the new bearings in it. If it's a Timken, it's a whole nother fucking thing with end play and shit. So, that ends up being a little bit more money. So like I said, I taped off the cases and painted them all the Bead Blast Harley Davidson silver.
It's really nice too.
Yeah.
Did you have to prep a lot?
No,
just degrease it, clean it up a little bit and shit, and then it sticks pretty good to it, huh? It looks fucking bitchin' too, man.
I did a blonde to black conversion on my 06 I had. I did the tranny and everything.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So once I did the crank, I pressed new bearings in the lower end, so I got special tools and stuff to set the right depth, and I'll put the bottom end back in the bike, and then I started doing the cam chest. Cam chest, what I actually did was, so I used a 07, a newer Harley Davidson hydraulic cam plate, and then I bought a kit from Fueling that had the hydraulic billet tensioners, the gears, the chains, all of that stuff, and the OE Plus billet fueling oil pump. And then because it's a conversion setup, Fueling and a couple other companies make conversion cams that have larger journals for the late model 07 and later plate, but the small journals for the early case bearings. So I did that same setup on my 06. So I did it because I had some of the parts on hand. That's why I went that route.
So ballpark, because people are interested in that type of stuff, and this is a way where you can show that you don't have to spend an extraordinary amount of money all the time to get some nicer, newer shit. So ballpark, what were you in for that type of setup?
I had to buy the cams still, and I had to buy all that other stuff, so that's kind of what screwed me. So I mean, honestly, it was still pretty expensive to go that route. There's probably at least, if I had to guess, $700 just in the cam chest.
But if you do a full cam chest and you go buy an S&S or a Fueling and a cam, that's half the cost probably of really what it's going to... You're in it a decent amount of money, don't get me wrong. I
will say this, anyone that has an early model bike up to 2005, if you go on eBay, or if you know a friend or someone that has an 07 and later cam plate and oil pump in good shape, even if the oil pump isn't, you just go to Harley and buy a new replacement oil pump. They're cheap, and you get all the gears and all that stuff, and you just have to buy the cams. You can do it really cheap, because some of that stuff some people will actually just give you, because it's just shit they're gonna throw away. You know how many cam plates I throw away? I don't fucking want that shit.
Because really, like, all you're after for that is the hydraulic tension.
The oil pump probably flows a little bit better than the one that came in this bike, you know. Because if you were to go buy the Screaming Eagle kit, that's the most cost-efficient way to do that conversion. you know, you're talking about $500 something for
Yeah.
that kit, which is still not that bad. And then you got to put, you know, if you decide, I recommend putting cams in if you're there, but you know, cams are anywhere from a couple $100 to, you know, $400.
Yep. You're there, and all this he's making mention because, like you said, 2000 to 2005, they got those shitty chain tensioners, those tension ones in there, and that's the fail point in them. So that's why this is a simple
Well,
upgrade.
it's even the cam bearings too, but that goes.
Oh, the bearings, yeah, you're right.
That goes for M8s too. Those cam bearings are just shit.
Yeah, so it's part of owning a Harley. And I'm sure there's weak points on every motorcycle, but unfortunately with Harley, there's a little bit more.
Yeah, I basically went in there to this whole motor. I upgraded everything that should have been upgraded.
So, cam plates all done inside. What 510s? That's what you said you did?
No, they're the 543 fuelings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good lift in there then. Better lift. But you got 95s though, so you got some different springs and stuff in there.
No. You know, because this is an 05 motor, so 05 was the first year of Beehive springs.
Oh,
so
that's right.
They support more lift than the early 04 and later.
That's right.
04 and later supported 510 lift.
510, yep.
Yeah, so this is 543 lift, and I think the intake close on the cam is like 42 degrees. It's a really good cam. I like it, especially when you add some compression to them.
Yeah, 543. So did you dyno it at all? Because you got 9. You didn't.
No,
did you give it some? I mean, you've ridden it for long enough to know, like, it's healthy. It's healthy.
I went up and down the street. I flashed it. It needs to be dyno, but it needs, you know, I like to put a good 1,000 to 1,500 miles on a fresh motor before it goes to the dyno.
Yeah.
And then do some.
Before you really
changes.
go beat it up.
Yeah. But I kind of got on a little bit yesterday, and it moves.
You know when something's you've sat in enough seats to know this has got a little kick to it.
Yeah, for a 95-inch and a bagger, it definitely moves.
So 95, no head work or anything like that, just cam work.
The heads are stock.
Same throttle body.
Same throttle body. All I did with the heads, I had them checked out, and I had them vacuum tested, and I put new valve guide seals. And then the cylinders, I had bored 10 over. They had a little bit of some light scratching from when the motor went out, and I went with Keith Black Hypertechnic 10.5 to 1 pistons.
Dope.
So you know, it's a couple points bigger than a 95-inch now.
Clearly, engine, I would, you're breaking it in the right way. There's break-in miles, but it's done. Bottom up, everything's clean. New pistons, bottom end, cam upgrade.
Brand new.
It's essentially, a brand new engine. Tank and all that stuff. I know you painted a little bit of stuff. I saw some of the paint that was getting done.
Yeah, so with the paint in general, I was not going to do any paint work on this because I was kind of on a budget and the goal was to sell it. The tank had, I got the parts that came with the bike. The tank was one of them that was in a bin, and I didn't know. I didn't look at it. So when I got the bike officially, I took everything out of the box, started looking at some stuff.
Let me get some of this light here.
And
there we go.
The tank had a little ding in the top of it, so.
Cause that was over here, huh?
Yeah, it was right over here.
They painted it pretty quick for you, man.
Oh yeah, I had a little thing here and a couple scratches.
Yeah, that came out clean.
But when I offered it to my buyer, and he saw it, like the tank and stuff, he really wanted to have it fixed. So once he committed, I took the tank and the new front fender and the side covers and the little CVO cap on the license plate that I put on there.
Okay.
And I added stuff painted. But then there was the question of the decal, because I don't want to just leave it with a plain tank with no decal on it. So that's where the little winged decal.
It's a nice touch. And then I know about your other bike, the other Road Glide you built, and so I know it has that. He's gonna have bikes that have that matching theme, man. He's gonna have a what do we call this? A pewter, a brown? What do we call this kind of a?
The color is actually called smoky gold metallic.
Smoky gold. That's what Harley defines it as.
Yeah. And I think it was only a few years. I think some of the DXs came this color.
Let's see if I can get it right here. Yeah. I mean, it's got a nice little pearl. It's got a little gold in it. Yeah. It's got a look in there. It's got to see a dot of green and purple a little bit. It's just got a nice little. It's nice, man.
Yeah.
It's clean.
Honestly, I've never been a fan of this color until I had to look at it for the last 8 months. And it really does.
It does it justice,
Yeah,
right? It does it good.
Yeah.
I know and you know why I think, man? Because sometimes these years there was other colors that look better, and we kind of forget about these.
Yeah.
But Harley knew something. I don't fucking know, you know. But they did it right, man. Silver in here.
There's a lot of other factors with this. You know, again, putting that decal on the tank, doing the newer wheel, the different front fender. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, so what'd you do here in the front then, man? Let's talk about the front a little bit then, because I know all this is totally different.
So the front suspension, I found a receipt. Somebody had already had progressive cartridges put in there.
Okay.
So it has that done, and at that time, they did chrome lower legs. Chrome's kind of it's not the greatest anymore. But
These get beat up all the time.
what led me to put that front fender on, it's a Clockworks, it's called a Fixster. The person that originally had this bike put the light and the bumper and all the freaking ultra classic shit all over the original front fender, and so now it had holes in it and it looked like shit. So I fucking threw that, took out the little swap meet, just let it go for nothing. And I was kind of trying to go back and forth. Do I put a factory fender on it again? I was gonna do this route and then just have it wrapped in like a carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Just to keep it cheap.
Yep.
The wheel I was already gonna do because I think the stock wheel they look like shit. So I went with that.
Yeah, because it's like a 16 or something that year, isn't it?
16,
Yeah.
So I went with the Enforcer wheel in the front, the 11/8 rotors, and then the Brembos.
Good
And
upgrade,
then
man.
I converted the axle. The axle's 25 millimeter now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because of the wheels and the spacing and all that stuff.
Now
Now,
it works. It's easy. I've done that swap a million times. So
yeah, it instantly upgrades the look to the whole bike. You know, it gives it a modern, fresh look just by that simple.
yeah.
So-
I mean, I had to. Not only did I have to, fix the motor in this thing and get all that situated, but I had to convert this thing back to a normal looking road glide.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was you had to declutter the whole thing. Yeah.
It had bag guards around it. I had to put the one-piece saddlebag supports.
Yeah.
I had to get a new rear fender support. This one under here.
Down below.
That one. I had to put all of this back the way it should have been. It had a little light down here that the Ultras have. So that's why I ended up putting this on here to kind of get rid of. There's some holes under there, so I had to fucking cover them somehow.
Yeah, I think it had the big old light bar or something on it too, or did it have the regular light bar or this light bar on it?
This light bar with
It
amber
did?
lenses had a red stock.
Oh, that's right.
Tail lights. I did all this stuff, smoked everything. But I had to just figure out a way to kind of make that look good again, and that's kind of where I went with it. I never planned to do the tail light, but as soon as I added this into the mix, I'm like, no, that's gonna look stupid with a big red tail light sticking out this far, and then this thing, it's gonna look like, all Pee Wee Herman and shit. So that's why I wanted this smoked, laid down, low profile. So this didn't counteract with this. It all kind of just flows and looks good,
And by doing and you accomplished a sleek look.
Yeah.
I'm looking from the outside in at minimal cost. Like you accomplished a completely updated modern look at not minimal cost. It's always cost to do the shit, but you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it. Yeah, it's clean, man. And sometimes, as they say, less is more.
Yeah,
That's sometimes the way it goes.
I hate clutter.
Yeah, and that's like overall, man, with the bike. I think even on your other bike that you have, the other Road Glide, same thing, same concept.
Yeah.
My paint on my Road Glide is flashy a little bit more than that, and I like that style, but I also stand back and look at something like this and go, this is dope. This is just clean palette with like a nice simple design element on the tank, chrome.
Yeah.
It's the work and the craftsmanship and the attention to detail is what makes it, justifies itself, I guess.
Yeah.
So it looks good, man. Black crash bar. I know you ended up updating that shit. And
Well, I had a chrome one on it, but the chrome one found out was slightly bent. So my buddy gave me that black one off of a newer bike.
and you know what, man? I know I was over here a couple times checking it out in your ear, like, no, chrome.
Yeah.
Black. I think was the right call, man.
Well, here's the thing. With black crash bars on a bike that has a lot of chrome, I like the black crash bar because it ties into the frame. So it just looks like an extension of the frame, and
Yeah.
the frame is black. You know what I mean?
It's a good design element. It's a good design element, and you're right. Like from a design standpoint, and just like, yeah, it definitely. You're right.
There's there's one mistake a lot of people I've seen make is that, you know, black was a very big thing. Chrome is definitely coming back.
Big time.
But you know, people, hey, I'm gonna powder coat this part here and this one over here, but then it just looks like you just bolted on a couple black parts and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. Everything, that's why sometimes just less is more, right? Chrome in the right spots just kind of does its justice, you know? Yeah. So the bar setup, this is new. I haven't seen the bar setup since you've installed them. So what's the combo?
So it's just 9.5 inch just drag pullbacks. I run this setup on pretty much any bagger that I have for my personal use. They're just Chromeworks Sportster bars.
Okay.
And then I like running these finned top clamps. And then I just run stainless steel hardware and then grade 8 from the bottom. And then I run solid riser bushings.
Oh, those suckers are on there then,
yeah, you can see them. They're kind of down in there somewhere.
Grubby paws.
Thing is, with these bars, unfortunately, is they don't come drilled. They just come dimpled. So I just usually just run them on the outside, just tie them up. You know, I have in the past, I've drilled some holes up in the radiuses, and then I use the factory clips to hold things instead of zip ties. But again, this was a budget bike.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like this setup. They're only about 27 inches wide. I've just...
Sit on it. I want to see where it kind of puts your, where it sets your hands. So like riding position. Oh yeah, it brings them back like nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's super comfortable. Super comfortable. They're not super wide. They're you know, within the fairing.
Yeah, they tuck inside.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are? 28 or width? You know.
The bars themselves, the spec is 27 and change.
Oh, they're tiny ones.
Yeah.
Or not tiny, but I mean, yeah.
End to end, if I measured this right now with the grips and shit, they're probably about 30, 29, 30 or so.
All right.
But yeah, and everything
looks good, man.
Super solid.
Yeah, and that's like this. Some people obviously for the vibration and stuff with these, but my opinion, after putting T-bars on my Road Glide, a couple of them, and they're such heavy bikes that those other bushings, if you're pushing them around, you're pulling them, you're moving them, it just
here's the thing.
They'll get worn the fuck out.
Here's the thing with these bikes specifically, and I found this out the hard way. So when you put, even if you put those solid, you know, what is it? Company is that makes
the solid slug ones?
No, the Good and Tight ones.
Oh yeah.
Who's that company?
Good and Tight. Good. Gooden.
Yeah.
Good and Tight.
Company that sells them. But the thing is, even if you put those urethane ones in here, yeah, they're tight. But if you have any movement, here's what happens. You can see there's a bit of a gap in here from the riser to this.
Yep.
Well, those other ones kind of relax back a little bit still. And when it touches here, this ignition switch is encapsulated in this. Mm-hmm. So when you're hard on the bike, or if you're trying to do a wheelie or something and you're pulling back, what happens is these risers push on this and end up cracking your ignition switch.
I think I've had that happen to me.
Yeah.
Not from wheeling, just from cracking, you know, there's that as well.
So it's happened to me. It happened to this one dude that follows me. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on my 06. And then I realized what happened. And because I was getting this intermittent like cutting out of my electrical system. But ever since then, I like to, another issue is with risers is that if you go one side and you push hard, like they still flex a lot.
Yeah.
So when you have solid risers, you might feel a little more vibration, but it's solid. You feel like you're in the bike planted. It ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean?
It's a Harley too. It's supposed to vibrate, man.
I mean, this thing, with the compression this thing has and stuff, this isn't like your grandpa's bike. Like, it feels like it has power, and you can feel the motor and shit. Like it's got a new front motor mount, and you know, you feel some vibration through it. You know.
Yeah, you did. I mean, not that my opinion means shit, man, but from knowing what it was and where it is now. Definitely, you brought it back to life. Baggers are fucking hot as shit, you know. Everybody wants one. Skinny tire baggers are coming back, and just paint combo, decals, chrome in the right spot, subtlety. Oh, that's me. Did it the right way, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't get to keep it. Well, that's part of being a builder, you know. You get to enjoy it and see your stuff out there on the road. Someone else enjoying what you did, fruits of your labor, and then you go on and build something else, you know?
Yeah, he's not sure if he's gonna he's keeping this one, but it's starting to sound like he's actually his buddy, some friend of his in Idaho, is gonna probably buy it off him.
Oh shit! Shit, he sold to him. Or
yeah, so he's not sure if he wants to keep it because he already has like 18 or 20 bikes.
Good God. Well, he got himself a good one and a thunderheader too.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. When's he coming to pick it up?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, coming with a trailer,
Yep.
taking her on out.
Yeah.
Come on, clean, man.
He invited me up to Idaho. He's like, dude, anytime you want to come up, it's like you can ride your other bike or any of his other ones.
Well, it came out clean, dude. I'm glad I got to at least see it in person before it got shipped out. I appreciate you telling me the guy's coming to pick it up. You want to come check on it? Because, I mean, I watch you build it and stuff, you know, not only just online, but a couple trips over here just to see the different stages of it. And I was excited to see, like, the final product, like, put together, bars on there, you know, paint done on the engine, just everything together, dude. And for the way you were doing it and you set out to do it, like, budget-wise and stuff, I would say you killed it on it, man. This is like the same concept that you did with this is where I'm trying to take that dyno that I'm messing with, you know? A lot of just elbow grease and putting the labor and the time into it and the stuff that I feel's needed to make somebody else happy on the bike, you know what I'm saying? And
it sucks, like, I have such OCD. So, like, I had to honestly, like, shortcut myself how I really wanted to do some stuff.
I know. If you haven't followed his page, go, because it is OCD filled. If you have OCD, you'll geek out on it.
Originally, I was gonna paint the cylinders the texture black, and I was gonna redo the heads just straight silver, the blonde silver.
Okay.
But I'm like, dude, I just gotta get this thing together and done. Like, you know, yeah, the fork laves, the chrome's fucking.
I know it's probably killing you, huh?
Yeah.
I know you. And I know it's like it's killing me to have it like that, but you know,
here's the problem.
he can. You know what he'll do if he's good? Well, not if he's a good customer, but you know what will happen? He'll come and he'll bring it to you and go, hey man, I want to address this now.
Yeah.
And you'll fix it then. You know.
Here's the thing that happens, and I tell like even customers this same thing. Is when you have an idea and let's say, hey, I want to do a whole repaint and I want to do some powder coated parts. Okay, well, your bike's an old piece of shit to start out with. So you're going to put all these pretty parts on your bike. Now, this part over here is going to start to look more like shit, and that's going to look like shit. It's like this dash. Like, this dash number 1 isn't even off of this year.
I noticed that.
It's got, you know, from somebody's, you know, Schwantz or whatever fucking in the wind fucking hitting the thing. I mean, there's like light scratching. So you have this nice new tank with this thing. It's got like, you know, light scratching on it. It's stupid.
This is your OCD kicking in,
Yeah.
man. That's your OCD. Yeah. 90% of other Harley people, or not Harley people, 90% are going to go, fuck, I'm going to stand back here and go,
that's the thing, is it?
that thing's cool.
You know, I came from building, you know, 6-figure fucking hot rods, you know, a couple years back, and
where attention to detail is absolutely critical.
Yeah,
like
we're
you
talking
got
the
to.
whole thing, everything's brand new, you know. So you get into
You don't have any
something
cars
like this.
here anymore, huh?
No.
No.
Fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit. I'm out. Oh shit, man. Well, I'm fucking stoked for you, man. Did you get the speakers working?
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, let's turn it on. Can we turn the fucker on?
You want to start the bike?
Can we?
Yeah.
Shit, man. Let's hear the best part, man. Make sure I'm still recording. Yeah, go ahead. Hit it. Sounds so good, man. If you want to give it a fucking butt, for sure. You need them both open, or you can squeeze by with one? Open them both, or you... help himself. Sounds good though. Sounds very healthy. I'm a huge fan of the Thunderheader as it is, but it's the compression, the Thunderheader, the cam combination on it. That's why you hear how. That's why it sounds as crispy as it is, in my opinion. You can hear it coming already, and his exhaust is facing the opposite direction. It's crispy. Oh, he can't help himself. I wouldn't either. I couldn't either. That shit sounds so nasty. You know when you lost the hat is for real. I got it. Boys and their toys. And new fucking engine, man.
Yeah.
It sounds good, dude, and it goes. You can tell.
I wasn't even on it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You can tell that it just wants to go. You know, it wants to.
Yeah, once it's dyno tuned and shit.
Yeah. It looks good. It looks good. The stance is right. Bars are done right. A lot of shit went into this thing, man.
Yeah.
Happy with it?
Yeah, it sucks. I gotta sell it.
I know. But you're in the business of building, I guess. You know, that's your business. So, well, good shit, man. Good fucking shit, dude. I wish I could have bought it from you.
Yeah, it's
Just keep it for you.
It's a shame. All that fucking time.
Yeah, but you won't be saying that when there's money in the bank.
Yeah.